G'day. Welcome back to the $100,000 Crypto Challenge. Well, it was alt-season or bust for me, and unfortunately, I went bust. In today's video, I share my lessons from 4 months into the challenge. Please note that the information contained in this video is not financial advice and is purely for entertainment purposes. In today's video, we'll take a look at the portfolio today, my overall market outlook, going to review Q1 and Q2, and then talk about my plan for the rest of the year. I put the Discord picture up here because in all likelihood, this is going to be the last video that I do for a while. So if you like to talk crypto, come into the Discord. We're all very friendly in there and happy to talk about any trades and any coins. So we had the Chappella upgrade, and I was all in after Chappella upgrade. Had a big move through 2000 on ETH. Once we put in this liquidation candle, that's when I kind of thought, I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's all over. In the Discord, I said that, hey, if we close on the daily below 1935 2 days in a row, I'm going to get out. And we've done that. And since then, I have just been getting out. As you can see, my maximum here was just over 135, 136-ish. Since then, it's been a huge drawdown of 22k. Standing at 114,246. This is all that I own at the moment, and I've just been any move up. I've been trying to exit coins. It's been very time consuming, and it's pretty tough when all you're getting is down days. But other than Litecoin and ETH, I'm not planning on holding anything else here and the stable coins. So what happened in terms of me for looking at the Ethereum chart? Once we went through Chappella here, we got the big close over for this key resistance here on the weekly, and then big retracement. This is not what I was expecting from my yellow line. I needed to see big follow through of price, keeping within my red lines, and price is not in there at the moment. And then I really had to start to think after this capitulation candle going through. I thought, well, is that it? Let me just go through all my notes again. This bottom did come in 2 months earlier than I expected on Bitcoin, on Litecoin in particular. So then it does make sense that if this is the top, that it would also come in 2 months earlier. Thinking about it, Shanghai is a good it's a good macro buy the rumor, sell the news event. Let's think back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin ETF back on the CME. It's a big buy the rumor, sell the news event, and Shanghai is certainly one of the bigger events we've had. And based on all of this, I just can't see a situation where small caps will catch a bid here. Also on the weekly, it's a pretty significant railroads track there. Super bearish, not a lot looking great. In terms of all other coins, all I've seen is failed breakouts all across the board, which tells me, and all the feeling I have is that this is a PvP environment. There's no new capital coming in. I don't have an edge in this market. There's nothing for me to do. And certainly the sentiment I feel is that there's going to be broader risk off coming soon through a number of markets, in particular crypto. So given that, I really liked this bottom. We've got a double bottom here within a bigger double bottom, really good time frame. It looks like it's going to be a failed breakout. So my central case now changes that if this is the top, and I'm leaning that way, sure, there's no reason why price can't continue on. But let's say that this is the top, then my central case would be a retrace here to kind of retest these lows somewhere between August and December this year. It's harder to put a nice time on it, but certainly I'll be monitoring price very carefully. Now this is a really solid bottom, so I have seen, there's going to be there's people out there who are saying, hey, there's going to be liquidity grab down to 800, so and so, 700, so and so. I don't see it. I'd be super surprised because this is really solid. This is not this is not new. I mean, I've gone back to the Bitcoin chart, look at Bitcoin here in 2015. You know, had a nice double bottom here on the weekly, another double bottom, within a double bottom, and that still had a failed breakout. Put it in triple bottom, and then we're on our way. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for ETH. We've got 1, 2, kind of like a triple bottom pattern coming in is kind of how I'm looking at it. Take a look at Bitcoin chart. You know, my first video way back at January, beginning of January. If I think back, I think that's when I did my first video, and I was saying that I think Bitcoin 28.6 by this yellow line is my central case. So we hit that a bit earlier. The measured move of this head and shoulders I have is 33.9. Given that you know, there's just a general lack of liquidity out there, it's all kind of getting sucked out. This to me means that 33.9 is far from a given. This is a super powerful pattern. What it does mean though is that this is a very strong base for me. Okay, this has formed a really strong base. We can come back into it, but breaking this low is going to be certainly something that would surprise me a lot. So that, you know, even if we don't hit this measured move now, I would expect that we will hit it certainly in the future. That's my central case. And, you know, I don't know. There's nothing here to say that, hey, we can't just kind of consolidate here. Could even retest 25 and then come all the way back up. There's nothing to say that won't happen. There's nothing to say we won't continue to 49. But this has been a huge move. Okay, this is a huge move. I haven't played it as well as I would have liked to, that's for sure. But it's better than coming out with nothing. And so at this point, we're closer towards the end of the move than the start of the move, and there's not a lot left for me to do here. Just looking at some old charts, I mean, if I look at A0, this was I was pretty happy with my early pickups on this. My average was 90 cents. Pretty nice weak little bottom, pretty much reached its measured move here, retest of this neckline. But for this to take off, like let's say to break this all-time high, let's say, which, you know, was what I was thinking, if there's an Altseason, that's what's going to happen. A good project like A0 is definitely going to break its all-time high, especially when it hasn't been through like a bull run before. But this is not the price action for an Altseason. It's not going to happen. I mean, this is not the price action that you would expect to see. You would expect to see maybe a quick retest and then bounce and then a move on. Metis, again, I mean, for me, it's one of the real nice kind of like smaller cap. I mean, it's a huge cap, but it's smaller cap L2 compared to, you know, your ARBs and your optimisms and all that. But yeah, this price action is not an Altseason. I mean, there's just nothing happening here. There's nothing exciting. I can't. I mean, sure, you can get a bit of rally, but there's no Altseason here, so there's nothing for me to do here. Reviewing my Q1, Q2. So I have changed the name of the challenge. It was $100,000 to $1 million challenge. I don't think it's realistic anymore. If I had done this better, or let's say if conditions had turned out more favorably, and, you know, if I was at 200k, then I think $1 million would be possible. I really do, but it's not realistic now because I'm at 114. I mean, it's not impossible, but I think it's more unlikely, and certainly much more unlikely than the start of the year. So I have changed the name. I could change the name to the $100,000 to $500,000 challenge, but I think that it's best for me to just call it the $100,000 crypto challenge. Certainly, I think that would help with. I mean, it's interesting psychologically that I put that name on it. I put out a public YouTube video, and it does affect my emotions. I mean, I've seen some of the trades I've done have been emotionally based. I'm just like, what am I doing? This is terrible. So I'm just going to leave the title of this and see if it makes a difference. But certainly, trading with emotions is a kind of like a really strange new thing for me, and not very happy with that. Good thing I did was I secured good initial entries on ETH and Litecoin. What I was trying to do is just chip away at averaging in down near the bottom of the range, just in case if it kept coming lower. But it really took off. It gave you no chance to get in. So what I've written here is that, my plan said that, okay, if you can't get in, my plan was to get big allocations of ETH and Litecoin, but if I couldn't get in, I then moved down the risk curve because they hadn't taken off yet. So then I started to move into some L1s, and then I started to move on. Once they started to take off, I had to move into further down the risk curve, micro caps. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. It's what I ended up doing, and the results were kind of predictable. So if I look at it like this is the day that I bought my first ETH in the challenge and Litecoin at these prices. If I had just got 100% into Litecoin, ETH, and Bitcoin on that date, then today portfolio would be 150k, which is a lot better than 114. So this wasn't an Altseason kind of Q1, Q2. It just wasn't. It was a majors only, and some really strong narrative coins, some AI coins, and that's about it. Once Shanghai was coming, I did take leverage. I did go all into altcoins. My execution was good. I am happy with that. Unfortunately, it was the wrong plan, but at least my ability to still create a plan, stick to the plan, I'm happy with that. Point 4 here is, once this BUSD SEC case came through, I sold. When SVG happened, we had a huge dip. I didn't buy. And the lesson here is that when we're in this bull market, which is not now, but when it comes, if there's any FUD, you got to buy. That's the lesson here. There's going to be a shakeout. When there's panic, that's when you got to step in big with conviction. Once we get into a nice market, once there's some kind of serious news that causes a big shakeout, I have to come back to this slide, come back and look at point 4 and read what I've written here. And number 5, I misinterpreted Shanghai as sell the rumor because of all the unstakes that would happen, but it was the opposite. It was actually buy the rumor, sell the news. That was me, I think, even though I was researching it a lot, getting the real information in terms of how the unlocks would happen was more difficult than I anticipated. And I mean, I was following like lead ETH devs, and even that wasn't enough. So it was a bit disappointing. But just something that happened in Q1, Q2. So the plan for the rest of 2023, which I call part 4 in my trading spreadsheet, link is in the description below, is that I will allocate 100% on a retest of the lows of, let's say, Bitcoin, let's say ETH, and this is somewhere in Q3, Q4, I don't know exactly where, and just a few other coins. Render, if it looks right. I mean, Render's been really hard to get a hold of. I only got a hold of a little bit. It's a tough one. It's got a huge narrative, so that's why I've put it up here on this list. And some big caps depending on how they look. Number 2, I have to market buy. This is because the market efficiency has really increased. So I think we back in the day when there was less coins, I think this would have been an Altseason. I think there would have been some probably 10x's. But there's so many coins now. The market's more efficient now, and I wasn't even like Bitcoin, even like Litecoin and ETH at the start of the year. It was so efficient, it just took off. There was no retrace. There was no decent retrace for me to get in. So the market is more efficient, and I need to adjust my trading style to match that. So once that price comes at the right time, I'm in. Number 3 is that I need to hold with strong hands, and I should be fine with this because I'll have the belief that even if price dips, I'm confident it will be higher later. If I'm wrong, so be it, but my conviction will be strong. Point 4, do not hold more than 20 coins in the bull. This is going to be tough for me. In the last bull, I held over 100 coins. I was pretty happy with how I traded everything. My plans went pretty fine. but certainly from, I think I had about 65 at the max in this run here. It was just too much for me to handle in terms of managing, monitoring, logging. It was too much. So I will try really hard to not hold more than 20 coins in the bull, and also just for health reasons. I mean, just staring at charts, reading news for so many coins, it's tough to do. Just want to say thank you so much for watching. So if you like to talk crypto, or maybe you just want to talk trades, talk coins, why not come join the Discord channel? We're always there, and we're always happy to talk. I don't have any plans to be back until things get more interesting, which could be a while. So until then, let's always be looking for an edge. Take care until next time, and thanks for watching the $100,000 Crypto Challenge.